Nation, what is up? We're back with another video, and today I'll be covering all the new DC comics that came out this past week. The week of January 11th, 2022. Now, to start off, my pick of the week, it's gonna be Robin and Batman number 3. This is the conclusion to Robin Year 1, basically. Like, it was a 3-issue miniseries that showed Dick Grayson go from just working under Batman to learning that he's actually different. Batman is a loner, where Robin, he could be on a team, he could work with people, he can have a lot more opportunity compared to Batman. And speaking of teams, by the end of this issue, this final issue, issue number 3, Robin officially joins the Teen Titans. And I like that. But aside from the whole Year 1 aspect of the story, which is written very well by Jeff Lemire, and also the artwork is amazing, it fits the tone, it's very dynamic, the action looks really good, but my favorite parts about this story is how Killer Croc is involved. We find out that Killer Croc is actually involved in Dick Grayson's origin about the Flying Graysons. Croc would always watch and see Dick have a happy family, parents, and Croc got jealous about that. And now he's getting involved and he's trying to kill Dick Grayson. But before he kills Dick, he's gonna kill Batman, his new father figure. Killer Croc sees it as, okay, you saw your parents die before, well, we're gonna go back to the Flying Graysons circus, which is pretty much abandoned now, and he puts Batman, like, locks him up, puts him upside down, water starts to come up, Batman's gonna drown if Dick doesn't save him in time. So there's a lot of tension, a lot of suspenseful moments as Dick tries to fight off Killer Croc and save his new father figure, Batman. But my favorite moments in the entire issue is when Killer Croc grabs Dick by the head, pushes him underwater, is basically drowning him, but then Dick, he sees his parents, and he hears Dick, wake up, Robin, wake up, listen. And you see Dick get pulled back up, Killer Croc is about to kill him, but then he fights back. Dick, you see this like really cool double page spread where Robin, he fights back, gets a bunch of punches and kicks in. He's really flying, and I like how they say that. Like there's like one caption that says, Robins don't fall, we fly. And it applies to the Flying Grayson background. I really like how Jeff Lemire incorporates that into the story. But yeah, from there, Dick, he takes down Killer Croc. Batman, he gets free by himself, like he does himself. Obviously, he could get out of being upside down in chains. But then we see Batman hug Robin. He's officially Robin. Like Batman, he respects him. He says, you did good, boy. I'm proud of you. And at this moment, I'm like, okay. In the previous issues, Batman's been a jerk and kind of out of character. But here, it comes all together. And seeing Batman respect Robin and Robin see how different he is from his father, Batman, is very interesting. And yeah, overall, this is a great conclusion to the short miniseries. A lot of action, good suspenseful moments, and a really great look, an in-depth look at Robin as a character. I highly recommend this miniseries. But yeah guys, next up on our list we got Detective Comics number 1048. This is Shadows of the Bats, Part 2. Written by Mariko Tamaki, art by Ivan Rice. I'm first off going to say, the artwork by Ivan Rice is amazing. He really knows how to showcase Batman's rogues, especially Mr. Freeze. Like, we get this one splash image of Batman fighting against Mr. Freeze, and it looks really cool. Also, this entire issue is a bunch of back and forth dialogue, and normally I would not be interested in that. I'd be like, man, this is not good, and the artist doesn't keep up. But this time, I'm invested not because of the writing, but because the artwork by Ivan Rice is so good. He really knows how to make a simple conversation feel dynamic. Now, for the actual story, we get some more details and background on Tobias Ware, a really crucial character in the storyline. He's the doctor, along with Dr. Ocean, funding and trying to make this whole tower, Arkham Tower, happen and make it make it better than Arkham Asylum. We get Kate Kane, Batwoman. She gets a tour of the Arkham Tower. We see different villains like Mr. Freeze, a Harley Quinn copycat, and it's interesting. I like getting a tour of the tower. Like, this is the big setting, the big location in the entire story, so it's good as a reader to know what's going on there. Seeing Chase Meriden again. So yeah, I enjoyed this issue. It was better than the last, but this story still needs a really good hook. So far, it's just a decent story, but it doesn't feel like an event, and it doesn't feel like it's gonna be iconic at all. So, hopefully next issue, Mariko Tamaki ups her writing, like really ups the quality, so it can match the amazing artwork we've been given so far. So yeah, overall, good issue, I recommend it. Next up on our list, we got Batman Urban Legends number 11. In this issue, this oversized issue, we got 4 different stories. The first one is all about Batman and Satana's relationship and how they did a spell back then when they're together, but it caused something big. Something went on with magic, and they've been trying to fix it all these years. Every year, they'll visit the spots, try to fix it, but it always goes wrong. But now, they're gonna fix it for good. Like, we see Batman and Satana, they show up to the spots, they do the spell all again, they get set up, you see a big blast, you see this very mysterious character get involved, which gets me excited. You see the entirety of the magical universe in the DC universe get alerted of this, like Dr. Fate, Madame Xanadu. Something big is happening, all because Batman and Zatanna. So yeah, I enjoy this story. I always like the Batman and Zatanna relationship. It has a lot of potential, and it always delivers. Like, it's always interesting. I like their dialogue and just their chemistry. Now, the next story on this list, we got a story that shows the connection between Ghostmaker and the Right Witch. Now, this story, it's okay. It's a Fear State Scion, and it can be interesting at times, so the artwork makes it unique. But me, I'm tired of Fear State. Like, it ended like 2 months ago, and to be going back to that and exploring these characters, I don't care. So, I didn't really care for this story. Next up, we got a story about Kid Eternity, which I know you guys probably haven't heard that name in a while. He's a very obscure character that hasn't been in comics for a long while. But this story, it just introduces his character back into the DC universe. We learn his origin again. He gets to have a back and forth dialogue with this new, interesting female character. And how the story ends, it gets me interested to see how it will continue. So yeah, Kid Eternity, I didn't expect to be invested in his character, but I am now because of this great short story. Now, last story in this comic, it's all about Ace the Bat Hound. We see Batman and Ace team up to take down Hugo Strange, who blows up. Like, he blows up an entire building, and then Ace, he gets kidnapped by these traffickers, and Batman, he gets sent away as well. So now Batman and Ace are separated and in bad situations. We're gonna see how Ace the Bat Hound deals with this. I also really like the story because we see the origin of how Batman found Ace. How Ace was under Joker and Joker didn't treat him well, and Batman showed up, took care of him, turned Ace into an absolute beast. Like, guys, seeing Ace just take down certain enemies in this issue, him biting their arms, him jumping on them, it's just amazing. And the artwork really sells. The art is amazing, it fits its own, and makes Ace the Bat Hound look really cool. So yeah, this is my favorite story out of all the 4 stories in this comic, just because I love Ace the Bat Hound. He's an amazing character, and for him to get a really good story like this, it's awesome. So yeah, overall guys, Batman Urban Legends number 11, 4 stories, most of them are pretty good, and I recommend it. You should check it out if you're an Ace the Bat Hound, Kid Eternity, or Satsana fan. Next up on our list, we got I Am Batman number 5, and this issue has multiple different artists. It kind of holds the quality down. Like, I said this in a previous video, how this series, it can't stick to one artist. We always be switching up artists or having too many artists in one issue, and it's jarring. It throws off the pace of the story. Now, aside from the art, like, the art isn't bad. It's just the fact that there's so many different artists in one issue. But to the story, we get a very rushed conclusion to the whole Magistrate 2.0 story. Like, Jace Fox, he takes down these new peacekeepers very easily. Talos, that's what's called. This Magistrate 2.0 is called Talos. Very weak villains. I ain't care at all, and they get taken down very quickly. But after we get a rushed finish to that story, we get a great start to an all-new story. What we see is Lucius Fox, he finally finds out that Jace Fox, his son, is the next Batman. And I really like this. Like, seeing Lucius talk to his son and telling him to represent, always represent. It was a really good moment. But my favorite thing is the end of the issue where we see Jace, he moves away from Gotham. He's now going to be officially stationed in New York. Which, that's great. It's a new status quo. Instead of Jace being in Gotham and me wondering where the heck is the rest of the Bat family, why we need this extra character dealing with villains, like, he feels very tacked on to the Bat mythos. But now, him moving to New York, it creates its own setting. It can make his character a lot more unique, and better, his suit doesn't cover up his face anymore. Like, he's representing, he's trying to be a new Batman. He'll probably run into his own new rogues gallery in New York, and I like that. Like, it should make this series a lot better. So yeah, overall, this issue started out bad, like different artists, a rushed conclusion to the previous storyline, but then it ended really good with Lucius finding out that his son is the next Batman, and Jace moving to an all-new location, New York, which I like that. New York, you could do a lot with that. There's a lot of potential with this new status quo. So yeah, if you've been reading this series so far, you've gotten this far, I highly recommend this, because this starts a new status quo that should interest you. Next up on our list, we got Future State's Gotham number 9. And this issue, we see Red Hood and Hunter Panic try to track down the next Joker. They go to the punchline, and we get some background on this new Joker figure. And it's very interesting. I like how the story is paced, how we get this reveal of how the next Joker is connected to Punchline and how she screwed him over. Also, Red Hood and Hunter Panic's dynamic, the mentor and student dynamic, is very fun. I like it. But my favorite part in this issue is the subplots regarding Nightwing and Talia al Ghul. We see Talia al Ghul confronts Nightwing and ask him to go find Damian. Damian, the son of the demon, the son of Batman, has gone missing. He's gone. For some reason, something happened to him, and Talia, she can't find him. But she's hoping that Nightwing, the man who was once Batman over her son, can find him, which I really like. Like, Nightwing going on a journey to find Damian, that could be very interesting. Like, it has a lot of potential, and I just found the subplot very cool. Like, I'm very invested in this story. Also, we get a really cool image of Bane. Like, Bane, he has this classic look here. He doesn't actually show up. He's just referenced, but the image we get, it looks outstanding. Like, it looks really cool. The artist really nails Bane's look, and the art in general in this issue, it has that manga style, but it still keeps certain characters' classic looks, which I really like. Now, the issue ends with a very big cliffhanger that gets me excited for next issue. The next Batman, Jace Fox, he confronts the next Joker. So, this futuristic Batman and Joker are gonna go head-to-head. Now, this Joker, he's not just a maniac. He is super strong, and he's basically a monster. Like, he has a huge tongue, he looks monstrous, he looks horrific, and I'm excited to see how Jace Fox, the next Batman, will deal with this. So yeah, overall, this issue has great artwork, well-paced story, a lot of good revelations, good subplots, and a very exciting cliffhanger. So yeah, if you've been reading the series, I highly recommend you pick up this issue. Next up on our list, we got the Joker, number 11, and this issue is probably one of my favorite issues in this entire series. Now, it's not just because of the artwork. Like, the artwork is amazing. I really like the artwork in this issue. It's very dynamic. It gives certain characters really cool looks. Just how the figures are, like the facial expressions and the panel layouts. It's good. But the writing is also really good as well. We get a lot of spotlights and background in the Samson family and how they had one of their own go to Arkham Asylum and lose his whole entire life basically so the Samson family can gain wealth. And now they're mad at Joker because they think that Joker caused A-Day and killed one of their own. So by the end of the issue, you see Joker in captivity with the Samson family. And the Samson family, they are ready to kill him. And it's very suspenseful how Joker acts and how he just doesn't care. It's great. But aside from that, we see Gordon, he's alive, he wakes up in Gotham, and then he goes on to team up with Bullock to go back on his journey to take down the Joker. But what I like here is instead of, okay, last issue, or the last plot issue, which was like a couple issues ago, we saw Gordon, I think he got stabbed. He got really wounded and he was about to die. Instead of spending an entire issue him slowly dying and then being saved, nah, cut that out. We see that he was saved by Barbara and he's back in Gotham. It progresses the story in a good manner, and now him teaming up with Bullock, I really like that. Like, Harvey Bullock getting involved, it's awesome. Also, another good reveal is now Barbara is going to be taking up Gordon's role. She'll be taking up her father's role. She'll be going to Cressida and taking up the whole journey, the whole mission to take down the Joker. It puts Barbara in the forefront. She's going to have a very interesting role as the series continues, and I'm just waiting for it. Barbara, Gordon, Harvey Bullock, all showing up to the same location where the Samson family and Joker are. That is going to be very exciting when it happens. And yeah, this issue is very set up, but I liked it a lot because we got some good plot progression and good character dynamics, good character interactions. And yeah, if you've been reading the series and you stuck around through all the filler type issues, then I highly recommend this finally focused on the plot issue. Next up on our list, we got Titans United, number 5. And this issue, we see an evil Connor Kent go all out. We see him go against the Titans, take down Donna Troy, and him fight off against Raven. Raven is actually in this issue a lot, which I really like. She gets good spotlights, and her just trying to convince Connor to go away from Blackfire and go back to the Titans is really good. It's a great conflict with a lot of suspenseful and big tension moments. And what I really like is through the confrontation between Raven and this evil Connor, Black Zero, we get this Temerian background. We find out about Starfire, how she would be the next ruler, and how Blackfire, she was pushed to the side, but then she caused a lot of conflicts, and now she's taking over Earth. Like, all this background makes the story a lot more interesting, and by the end of the issue, the Titans, they're in captivity. They've been kidnapped by Blackfire, and the only one who can save them is Starfire. So, now Starfire, she's in the spotlight, and I'm excited to see her really be resilient, go through all this conflict, try to take down this evil Connor Kent, Black Zero, try to take down her sister, Blackfire, and eventually save the Titans. So yeah, overall, this issue has good writing, a lot of action, amazing artwork that fits the tone, and if you've been reading the series, I highly recommend this issue. Moving on to the final new DC comic that came out this past week, we got Justice League versus the Legion of Superheroes #1. Now, this issue I enjoyed. It was a good start. We get some amazing artwork that shows off the Justice League and Legion of Superheroes in some really awesome double-page spreads. Like, we get some really cool images that get me hyped. Like, I like it. It shows both teams in their full glory. Like, just seeing the Justice League in action, seeing the Legion of Superheroes in big numbers, and dealing with conflicts. Also, this issue is really centered on the Golden Lantern. Yep, the Golden Lantern, he's a very crucial character that will determine the pace of the story. By the end of the issue, the Justice League and the Legion of Superheroes, they've interacted, they met up, they get some good character dynamics, and then they get sent off to a conflict we'll see in the next issue. Now, the thing that weighs down the issue, though, is Bendis. Like, he puts way too much dialogue. He always does that in all of his stories. Like, he'll make a moment that should just have a few words for dialogue, that should really showcase the art, into a moment that has so much dialogue, so much word bubbles, that takes up the page, and doesn't show off the artwork as good as it maybe could have. Like, hopefully, as the story continues, he cuts back in the dialogue, he paces the story well, and yeah, if he does that, this comic has the potential to be amazing. But right now, I'm skeptical and very worried. But at least this first issue was solid. I'll say that. So yeah, if you like the Justice League and you like the Legion of Superheroes, then I recommend you check out this series. Now, that's all the new DC comics that came out this past week, but we're not finishing out this video yet. It's time for a backhaul pull. And the backhaul pull for this week is Batman, A Death in the Family. Now, this is a very iconic story. You guys already know the story. We got Joker, he kidnaps Jason Todd. Jason Todd, he dies. Batman fails to save him in time. We get that iconic image where he's holding Jason, a dead Jason Todd, in the rubble. And then Batman goes off to defeat Joker. Not kill him though, he just defeats him. So, really iconic story, I really like it. It's a dark story, it's one of the darkest Batman stories of all time, and it's drawn well, the artwork is really good, the writing is amazing as well, and yeah, I just wanted to shout out in this video, because it's one of those Batman stories that, okay, it gets a lot of popularity, but it's really known for just Jason Todd's death and how it sets up Red Hood, but people neglect how good of a story it is. Like, by a writing and art standpoint, it's really good. It's not just good because Jason Todd's death and how that ended up being Red Hood and how iconic it is. That's cool. I always go back to it once in a while and read it again because it's just really well paced. There's a lot of action, a good dynamic between Batman and Robin, and just that scene where Joker is hitting Jason with a crowbar. Yeah, it's iconic, but it's also just laid out in a manner that gets you, like, it's very intense. You're like, oh man, is Jason gonna die? Like, I could imagine when this came out, reading this, like, just reading through this, and you just thinking, is Jason gonna die? And then he eventually dies? It's a very big moment. And yeah, that's gonna be the backhaul pull of the week. You guys, some of your thoughts on Batman, A Death in the Family, down below. What do you think about it? Like, yeah, JC becomes Red Hood. Like, there's the iconic side of the story, but also some of your thoughts on the story as a whole. Like, the writing, the artwork. What do you think about that scene where Joker's just beating Jason with a crowbar? And yeah, also tell me down below your pick of the week. Like, what was your favorite DC comic that came out this past week? And yeah, if you guys like the video, give a big thumbs up to the show. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next DC Comics video. And yeah, thanks for watching, and peace out.